Hello students, today we are discussing nationalism in India. So how nationalism started in India, what was the influencing factor for the mm, starting of nationalism, what is non-cooperation movement, what is civil disobedience movement, and what are the different strands of various people. That means notion of nationalism for different people, different kinds of people in India, and what was the impact of First World War on Indian economy. These are all the main things we are going to discuss in this chapter. In Europe, nationalism started with the formation of nation state. The people understanding who they were, what identity they have, they have, and sense of belongingness after the formation of nation state. Here in nationalism in India, we pick up the story from two uh, things. One is 1920 non-cooperation movement and 1930 civil disobedience movement. It's also called as Dandi March. Let us see the impact of First World War on Indian economy. As we all know that India was being ruled by English in the time of First World War. So there was an increase in defense expenditure for them. So because of that, they increased custom duties. As custom duties were increased, the prices increased. Income taxes were introduced. And the villagers were forced to join army. That means forced recruitment army. That's also one of the impact of First World War. And crops failed, unfortunately, in the time of First World War. Crops failed, that added miseries to the people of India. So they started facing acute shortage of food grains, and in the same time, influenza, a pandemic started in India that killed so much of people, so many people in that time. So this is the condition of India in the time of First World War. One, it led to defense expenditure. Second one, British increased the custom duty. Third one, failure of agriculture, that led to increase in food grains price and forced recruitment of people to the army, and influenza that killed lakhs of people. So these are all the various impact of First World War. Gandhiji returned to India in January 1950 from Africa. When he returned, he did not start national movement in India. His movement confined to some places. The idea of satyagraha emphasized the power of truth, the need to search for truth. He suggested that if the cause was true, if the struggle was against the injustice, then physical force was not necessary to fight the oppressor. That was the opinion of him. That is what we call satyagraha and non-violence. When Gandhiji returned to India, he started Sabarmati Ashram in Gujarat with the help of his political guru, Gopal Krishna Gokhale. It was started to study condition of India. The first movement of Gandhiji was started in 1917, Champaran, Bihar, to inspire the peasants to struggle against the oppressive plantation system. The second one was he organized Satyagraha at Kheda district of Gujarat, and people were dying of a pandemic, and there was a crop failure, and British were forcing them to pay land tax. So Gandhiji had to struggle on behalf of peasants. And the next year, 1918, Mahatma Gandhi went to Ahmedabad to organize the Satyagraha movement amongst cotton mill workers, because cotton mill workers' condition was very pathetic, long working hours and less salary they used to pay. So these are the organizations of Satyagraha are initial movements of Gandhiji when he came back to India. In this outline map of India, you can locate the various places in which Gandhiji struggled, where he started Sabarmati Ashram, Ahmedabad movement, then Kheda, then Champaran. These are all the places you can see here in this map. So it is very important in locating places. It is early movements of Gandhiji. On 13th April, the infamous Jallianwala Bagh incident took place. People of Punjab had gathered in Jallianwala Bagh and they did not know the existence of Rowlatt Act. Rowlatt Act was passed to suppress Khilafat movement. Khilafat movement was not confined to India, it was worldwide. In the time of First World War, British had captured Turkey by Khalifa and assuring them Turkey would be given back to Khalifa after First World War. But even after the First World War, it was not given back. So Muslims all over the world, they started Khilafat movement. In India, it was also started in India. And Gandhiji supported Khilafat movement to get the support of Muslims in non-cooperation movement. So non-cooperation movement consisting overlap with Khilafat movement in January 1921. In this outline map of India, you can see Amritsar in Punjab, where Jallianwala Bagh took place, and Chauri Chaura, another one place in UP, where non-cooperation movement stopped. Gandhiji stopped non-cooperation movement in 1922 because of Chauri Chaura incident, because it turned into violent method. So these are the places you have to remember, keep in mind. Another one place is there in Dandi, Surat, which will be discussed later. Different people in different places, they understood non-cooperation movement in a different way. One of the examples, the movement in towns. Thousands of students left government-controlled schools and colleges. Headmasters and teachers resigned, they gave up job. Then lawyers gave up their legal practices and council elections were boycotted. Here, different people understood non-cooperation movement in a different way. That's what we call different strands of different people. The notion of non-cooperation movement was different from people to people. But in towns and cities, this movement gradually slowed down because of various reasons. Khadi cloth was expensive. Then mass-produced mill cloth. That was one of the main reasons. And second one, people rejoined schools and colleges because it was very hard to lead their lives without job. So lawyers started once again practicing in court. So in towns and cities, the situation back to normalcy. Non-cooperation movement and Khilafat movement taken place in India hand in hand at the time of 1990. Let us see in the next slide what people of countryside, village, they understood non-cooperation movement mean. Now let us see how people of rural area, means countryside, understood about non-cooperation movement. In Awadh, people were organized, peasants were organized with the leadership of Baba Ramchandra. Baba Ramchandra was a indentured labor. He was in Fiji. See here, you have to locate the place Fiji, where it comes in the world map. Whatever the places we refer here, that has to be marked. So it will be very helpful for you in the examination. So Baba Ramchandra was an indentured labor. You should know the meaning of indentured labor also. Indentured labor means in those days when British were ruling India, they used to get the people here and they were engaged in the plantations of British ruling countries. So Baba Ramchandra was one such indentured laborer. He came back to India and lead the peasants in rural side, particularly in Awadh. And the movement here was against talukdars and landlords because they were collecting high revenue. And peasant movement demanded reduction of revenue, abolition of begar, and social boycott of oppressive landlords. Here we have to um, uh, observe one thing, that according to farmers, non-cooperation movement means three things they wanted. One, reduction of revenue. Non-cooperation movement is taking place, or Gandhiji started non-cooperation movement to reduce the land revenue. They thought like that. Peasants thought like that. Second one, rebellion of peasants against or abolition of begar. You know the begar. Begar means free labor. The peasants, they had to work in the house of talukdars and landlords for free of cost. So begar, abolition of begar was another demand of peasants of Awadh, and social boycott. Social boycott means social stratification, that is that was practiced in the time of non-cooperation movement. So people of countryside, village side, they wanted these many things to be avoided. So reduction of tax, land revenue, then abolition of begar, and social boycott. So these are all the things they understood the non-cooperation mean. Now let's see the non-cooperation movement mean as understood by plantation workers. When plantation workers in Assam heard of non-cooperation movement, thousands of workers defied the authorities. They neglected the authorities. They thought that, left the plantations and headed home. They started leaving their places, working places, and going back to their hometowns. So in those days, movement of plantation workers were restricted. They were not supposed to go out of their plantation. But now, when they heard of non-cooperation movement call given by Gandhiji, they thought that they can roam anywhere without any permission, left the plantations and headed home. They believed that Gandhi Raj was coming. See here, another concept, notion of plantation worker was, they were thinking that instead of British Raj, Gandhi Raj is established. Gandhi Raj was coming and everyone would be given land in their own villages. They started thinking that Gandhiji would be giving them land to cultivate in their own villages. Then no need to work in others' plantation. They thought that Gandhiji would be giving land in their own homeland. See here, two things you have to mention in the examination. One, according to plantation workers, non-cooperation movement mean replacement of British Raj with Gandhi Raj, and Gandhiji is going to give land in their own hometown, so no need to work in plantation. They can go home freely without any permission. So they started neglecting the owners. They started roaming and headed towards their hometown. So these are all things they understood non-cooperation movement mean. They never reached their destination. See the other hand, when they started going back to their home, they were caught and punished severely. So they never reached their destination. They did not go to their hometown and uh, stranded on the way. They stopped on the way. They were stopped on the way, and by railways and steamer strike, there was a strike, so they could not reach their hometown, and they were caught by police and brutally beaten up. They were given nicely when they were going towards their village or hometown. This was the notion or condition of plantation workers in the time of non-cooperation movement. Students, in this video, we have seen the impact of First World War, initial movement of Gandhiji, non-cooperation movement, and different strands or notion of different people about non-cooperation movement. That's all in this video. In the next video, in the second video, we are understanding civil disobedience movement, what you call salt satyagraha, and how Gandhiji got the support of Dalits, women, and Muslim in civil disobedience movement. That's all in this video. Thank you.